Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a Blacksmith Steve statue. So this is one of the more unique statues that I've made. Basically, the idea is that Steve is wearing a blacksmith's apron, he has a hammer in one hand, a diamond sword on the other, and he's using an anvil in front of him to hammer out the diamond sword, as an actual blacksmith would. I thought this was kind of a cool idea. It's a pretty interesting looking statue, and it's quite easy to make as well, and I think that you guys might like this one. So, if you want to see more things like this, I'd really appreciate the old thumbs up. I really would. Honestly, really appreciate it. Plus, if you want to make anything else like this, check out two playlists. Check out my mob statue tutorials playlist, which I will leave in the card system, and also my Minecraft item tutorials playlist, which I will also leave in the card system, among other videos and playlists. But I've been talking for way too long. If you want to make this, here's what you're going to need, guys. Grab yourselves some dark oak wood planks, and grab yourselves some white stained clay. Grab black stained clay, and some cyan stained clay. Flip over, grab yourself some black wool, grab white wool, then grab dark blue and grab yourself some cyan wool. Now, odds are we're probably going to need some more stuff later on, but we'll just grab it as we need it because we don't want to flood the old inventory. So once you have each one of those materials right there, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'll be making it right here. We're going to kick this off by making the anvil. So to do this, we want to do a row of 12 cyan stained clay in a row on the floor. That's 12. 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You then want to take this 12th block and you want to extend it coming towards you by 11. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then take this 11th block and extend it left by 11. Or alternatively, what you can do is you can just extend it left until it matches up with that very first block that we placed. And then you can connect it all the way back over to the very first block that you placed. And you'll end up with a square shape. Now, once you have this square shape, what we now want to do is we want to add basically 3 more layers of cyan stained clay on top of this square. So it'll look like 1, 2, and 3. And we just want to basically go all the way around this base of the anvil. And we just want to add those 3 layers of cyan stained clay on top of this. And this will form the anvil. Once the anvil, I don't know what word I was just trying to get out then. Once the anvil is taken care of, we will then make Steve. So hopefully this anvil won't take us too long. It's a very simple design, but you guys know how sometimes these things go. Sometimes it takes quite a while to make some of these things, not because they're complicated, but just because there's a load of blocks made up in them. But we've just about completed this right now, and what we'll want to end up with should look a little bit like this, which is just a nice box looking shape. So once we've reached this point right here, guys, I should point out that really you're going to want to figure out where the front of your statue is now, and I'm going to mark it out just so that I don't forget, so it's nice and easy to remember. So this is where the front of my statue is going to be, and it does actually matter quite a bit. So basically the front of your statue is going to be, this is the front of the anvil, and Steve will be stood at that side. Steve will be stood that side. This is the front. Steve will be stood at the back of it looking at you. So, you know, adjust where you want to build it based on that. Once you've figured all of that out, grab your cyan stained clay, and what you want to do is you want to do 2 rows of cyan stained clay coming in from the top part of the anvil, from the top back part of the anvil, and you want to do 2 rows of cyan stained clay coming in from the front top part of the anvil. So you want to have something which should look like this. Now, on top of that second layer of cyan stained clay that you made, you want to do a layer of cyan stained clay on top of that second row. So add 1 on the front and add 1 on the back, like this. So you now have 2 rows of cyan stained clay. You then want to connect those 2 rows together, end block, to form what should look like a small cyan stained clay rectangle on top of your anvil. What we now want to do is, on top of this surface that we've just made right here, we want to do 2 layers of cyan stained clay coming in from the top back part of the shape that you've made. So 1, and this will be 2 layers of cyan stained clay, and the same to the front. So the front you want to do 1, and 2 layers of cyan stained clay coming in from the front, like this. And then, on top of that second layer of cyan stained clay at the front and at the back, you want to add an additional layer of cyan stained clay on top, like this. So, sort of the same thing that you had before. Essentially, what it looks like is an equal sign, or a pause button, depends on perspective. You then want to connect them together front to back to form this shape. A nice rectangular shape. What we now want to do on top of this rectangle, we now want to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additional layers on top of this rectangular shape. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we just want to do this going all the way around the little mini rectangular shape, guys. So this is going to be the bit that like kind of supports the big meaty part of the anvil. You know, the bit that you'd like place stuff on and you'd like whack it out on the anvil with a hammer. Well, this is the bit that's going to support that bit that we just described, the big giant meaty part of the anvil, which is going to take up a significant portion of our time. So we've just about completed this bit right here, kind of like, I guess, like the neck of the anvil, you might call this. I don't know anything about anvils, but you want to have something which should look a little bit like that. Once you have that taken care of, this is what you want to do next. So you want to take this top layer of the anvil, and in front of and behind the anvil, you want to extend it coming out in front by 3. That's 1, 2, 3. And you want to do this to the entire front. You just don't want to do it to that first row. I don't know why I just did it to that first row first of all, but you want to extend the front and the back out by 3 layers. So that'll be 1, 2, and this will be 3. And then you want to take these sides and you want to extend them out by 4, so it'll look like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you want to do that to the left hand side and the right hand side. So you want to have a nice big giant shape at the top. So you want to have, like, that's just the left hand side, for example, that's extended out by 4, and you want to do the same to the right hand side. So this will be 1, and then just go 2, 3, 4, and we just want to do 2, 3, and 4, just like this. We then want to take each one of the 4 top corners of the anvil and we want to extend them up each by 5, so it'll look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we want to do that to all of the other corners. Or I'm going to take a shortcut. I'm now going to take that 5th block, I'm going to extend it over to the right here, connect it down to the corner, and I'm going to do the same to this block, extend it back, connect it down to the corner. I'm going to take this block, extend it all the way over to the right hand side here, connect it down to the corner, and then I'm going to connect back to the front of the anvil. I'm sure that you guys can see what we have here. So it's the same as extending each one of the 4 corners up each by 5 and then connecting them together, except it's a bit more of a fast forward way of doing it. What we then have to do is just completely fill the faces of the anvil, the big part anyway, fill all of these in with cyan stained clay. This may take a little while, but you know, that's what we've got to do. We've got to fill all of these in with cyan stained clay, and then that'll actually be the anvil complete, and it won't take as long as I thought it might. I thought that this might take like 15 minutes or something like that, but it's more looking like this won't take very long at all. And then, once this is done, we can get to work on Steve, which is going to be a fun part. Steve isn't difficult either. As we know, as you guys know, Steve is actually a very, very simple statue. One of the easiest statues that you can probably make. There are some YouTubers which are even easier than he is, but Steve really is quite easy to make all by himself, and he won't take us that long. The difficult part of this is definitely going to be the diamond sword and Steve's arms, but we've now got to fill in the top of the anvil here, and the top of the anvil is important because not only is Steve's arm going to rest on this just a little bit, there's not going to be much of Steve's arm on this, but the diamond sword is going to take most of the area, and it's also going to hang over one of the sides as well. It's actually going to hang over the front right hand corner of the anvil quite a bit, so it's important that we have the top of this thing filled in, and you just want to end up with something that should look a little bit like this. Perfect, guys. So now that we have the anvil, we can work on the rest of it. So once you've reached this point right here, and once you've filled in your entire anvil, you want to come round to the back of your anvil, and you want to come all the way down to the bottom of your anvil. What you're looking for are the 8 middle blocks of your anvil. So like the bottom 8 middle blocks, the 8 middle ones. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like that. It's basically the 8 middle blocks, 2 left on the left hand side, and there's going to be 2 right on the right hand side. And what you want to do is you want to take those 8 middle blocks, and you want to then, like coming back away from the back of the anvil, you want to leave a gap of 4. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, on this 5th row, we want to do a row of 8 cyan stained clay. So there wants to be a gap of 4 between the bottom of Steve's feet and the anvil itself. So you can see that that is what you want to have. And the first row of Steve's legs are a row of 8 cyan stained clay. Now, on top of this row of 8 cyan stained clay, you want to stack another row of 8 cyan stained clay, like this. Once you have that, you then want to do a row of 8 dark blue wool on top, and you want to do 8 rows of 8 dark blue. I apologize, guys, I said that a little weird. I'm just looking at my plans. Do 8 rows of 8 dark blue, so it'll look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now we've just got to fill all of those other rows in. So we're now just adding in the 8 rows of 8 dark blue, and then we can move on to Steve's torso. So once you have your 8 rows of dark blue, you then, for the next row, want to, starting from the right hand side here, you want to do 1 cyan wool, then make the rest of the row dark blue wool, like that. Then for the next row, starting from the right hand side again, you want to do 2 cyan wool, then make the rest of the row dark blue wool. So his shirt is hanging out a little bit. You then want to do 10 solid rows of cyan wool. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now we just want to fill these in with cyan. So we want to do 10 rows of 8 cyan wool, like this. This will take a second. Perfect. Once you have your 10 rows of cyan, you then, for the next row, going from left to right, you want to do 3 cyan, that's 1, 2, 3. Then 2 white stained clay, 3 cyan. Then for the next row, you want to do 2 cyan, 4 white stained clay, 2 cyan. There we go. That's pretty much the front of Steve. We're not going to be doing like his arms or anything yet, so we're just leaving it his legs and his torso. Once you've got that done, you then want to come all the way around to the back of the statue, and you want to come all the way down to the bottoms of the feet. Take the bottom 2 corners of the feet and extend them, coming out the back of the statue each by 3. That's 1, 2, 3, and the other corner as well, 1, 2, 3. Connect each one of those third blocks together like that. Then on top of this row of 8 cyan clay that we have right at the back here, you want to stack 2 rows directly on top of it. So that'll be 1 row and 2 rows of 8 cyan clay. You then want to do 7 rows of dark blue on top of that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we just want to fill all of those 7 rows in with our dark blue wool. So we just want to have something, well, we've got an extra block up there, haven't we? We just want to have something which should look like this. Then, for the next row, going from left to right, we want to do 4 dark blue, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 cyan, then 3 dark blue. Then, for the next row, do 3 dark blue, then 3 cyan, 2 dark blue. Then, once you have those rows done, you then want to do 12 rows of cyan. That will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you should notice that that 12th row is in line with the very top front of the statue. So you just want to do 12 rows of 8 cyan on top of the legs. So just do 12 solid rows of cyan on top of those legs. And you just want to end up with a nice clean back that should look a little bit like that. Nice and simple, guys. Once you have that taken care of, this is what you want to do next. So we're now just going to fill in the sides of the statue. So come to any side of the statue and come all the way down to the bottoms of the feet. What you want to do is this. On top of the block, the cyan stained clay block that is closest to the back of the statue, you want to go up on top of it by 2. And the one that's closest to the front, up by 1. You then want to take out your dark blue wool, and you want to basically do dark blue coming all the way up to where the dark blue ends on the front and the back of the statue. You can see that actually makes quite a lot of sense where it ends on the front and back of the statue. And then you can just fill in the rest of the side of the statue with cyan wool. So it just wants to look a little bit like this. It's quite logical. Then coming over to the opposite side of the statue, we want to, once again, the cyan stained clay that is closest to the back up by 2, the front one up by 1. Then with the dark blue wool, we just want to fill in dark blue wool until it is even with the dark blue that we have on this time just the back of the statue. With the dark blue that we have on the back of the statue, you can see it's even with the opposite side. The reason that it's different on the front is quite simply because Steve is messy, he's a little bit of a scruff, and he has his cyan wool shirt tucked out. So that's why it's different on that side, on this side. And then you just want to fill the rest of the side of the statue in with cyan wool. So you just want to have something which should look like this. Once you've got that taken care of, it's now time that we take care of Steve's head, and then we're going to take care of his apron, then his arms. So once you've got this taken care of, you now want to... No, you know what? Let's take care of his apron now. Why not now? So once you've got that taken care of, come all the way to the top front of your statue. With your black wool, you want to do this. So we basically want to do an apron. And the apron, with your black wool in front of the statue, you want to leave like the skin that Steve shows at the top of the statue. Leave that alone. So go around this like T shape with your white stained clay. Leave that alone with your black wool. And then the apron basically wants to come all the way down to here, like where you have this... Whoops, there we go. It wants to come all the way down to here. So basically where his shirt is tucked out, the black wool wants to come all the way down to here. Like so, it's covering up the tucked out shirt like this. And then it will connect together at the bottom. So you have a nice big giant rectangular shape of black wool. And then it's just got an additional layer of black wool just underneath that bottom row right there. So you can see it comes all the way down in line with where the shirt's tucked out. And then it has a row of 6 black wool underneath the apron. Then we just have to fill the center of that apron in. And remember, you don't want to cover any of the skin that Steve has out at the top of the statue, where he has like the base of his neck and the top of his chest exposed. You want to do the black wool around that, and you just want to have another row of 6 black wool underneath the bottom of the apron. Remember, the bottom of the apron stops where the shirt starts, and then you do the layer underneath it. So that is what the apron looks like. We don't have it draped over his shoulders because his shoulders are in weird positions and it doesn't translate well over to the statue. So that's the apron. Let's take care of his head. So Steve's head, it's obviously all the way up at the top of his body. So come all the way up to the top front part of the statue. Take out your white stained clay and do a row of 8 white stained clay directly on top of the torso like this. Then, in front of this row of 8 white stained clay, add an additional layer of 8 white stained clay. Then, in front of this row, going from left to right, you want to do 2 white stained clay, then 4 black stained clay, 2 white stained clay. And now we're going to build up on top of this row. So going from left to right, building up all of these rows, we want to do for the next row 2 white stained clay, then 1 black stained clay, 2 white, 1 black, 2 white. For the next row, we want to do 3 white stained clay, 2 black stained clay, 3 white stained clay. We then, for the next row, want to do 1 white stained clay, 1 white wool, 1 dark blue, then 2 white stained clay, 1 dark blue, 1 white wool, 1 white stained clay. Then for the next row, do an entire row of white stained clay. Then for the next row, you want to do 1 black stained clay, 6 white stained clay, 1 black stained clay. Then do 2 layers of black stained clay, that is 1 and 2, so you want to end up with something that should look a little bit like this. And once you have that taken care of, we now want to do the rest of Steve's head. So to do this, we want to come all the way around to the back base part of his head. So take this row of 8 white stained clay that we have right here, extend this until it overhangs the back of the head by 1 row. You want to extend this back until it overhangs the back of the head by 1 row like it does now. Then for the last row in the head, we want to do 2 black stained clay in the center, and then we want to do white stained clay everywhere else in the back of the head like that. Then, coming onto the left-hand side of Steve's head here, so we're on the left-hand side of Steve's head, and we have to do the same thing on the right. We then want to take this block on the second row that is closest to the front of the face, and we want to extend this coming back by 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we want to do 2 rows of 2 white stained clay towards the front of the head, so that's 2 and 2. Make that shape on the left, make it on the right. So we're coming over to the right here, we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we want to do 2 and 2, like this. Then take out the black stained clay, take the 2 backhand corners of Steve's head, raise them up until they are equal height with the front of the head, like this. Connect them together, connect them to the front of the head, and we just want to, end up with something that should look a little bit like this. So now we're just going to fill everywhere else in with black stained clay, and then we can take care of Steve's arms. It doesn't end with Steve's arms. I almost called him Steam. I don't know why I called him the Computer Program Library Game Service Incorporated. I don't know why I almost called him Steam. Although Steam does definitely sound like a much edgier version of Steve. It sounds like Steve's evil twin, Steam. He wears full black, he's got white eyes, red nail polish, he's got a katana on his back, possibly some sort of fedora. Steam sounds like Steve's edgy older brother, possibly edgy younger brother, I'm not entirely sure which sense in it. Anyway, once you've got Steve's head completely filled in, it's now time to take care of his arm. So we're going to be taking care of the arm with the... We'll take care of the arm with the hammer in it first because it's going to be a little bit harder. So come to the left-hand side of the statue. So it's, well, okay. So it's this side of the statue that we're looking at right here. Left and right is subjective, but you want to be on this side of Steve. You then want to take out your cyan wool, and can you see this one right here? Can you see where I've placed the cyan wool towards the back corner of the statue, but one block below? You want to take this, extend it out by one with your cyan wool. Now, once you've done that for yourself, once you have this wool extended out, you then from this want to do 3 bottom left diagonals. So that's 1, 2, and 3. You then want to do 3 up left diagonals. So that'll be 1, 2, 3. You then want to take out your white stained clay and you want to do 5 up left diagonals. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then go up by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then go right by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then do 4 bottom right diagonals. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then take out your cyan wool and do 3 bottom right diagonals. 1, 2, 3. You'll then find that connects all the way back to where you first started. Guess what you have to do now? This part is not fun whatsoever. We now want to take each one of those blocks and we want to extend them out the statue each by 3. So that includes the cyan wool, 1, 2, 3. And that will also include the white stained clay. So we want to do that with the white stained clay, and we also want to do it with the cyan wool. Once we've done this, we then have to give Steve a hammer. He's got a lovely looking hammer modeled after Monya Force hammer. It's not. It's a hammer. I didn't model it after anything. Although I have made Force hammer. I've made a big giant 3D version of Monya. It doesn't have very many views. I worked really hard on that, but I did make Force hammer. Don't know how. I don't know why I'm trying to plug that, but seriously, check that out. It's quite a big hammer. It's nice. It's easy to make as well. Look, so that's kind of interesting in your world. So you want to extend out all of those blocks by 3 coming out the side of the statue, and then you want to, I've done that a little bit wrong. You then want to fill in the outer parts of your arm. So something that I didn't explain is, I mean, when you have this like cyan wool and then there's separation between the white stained clay, you then want to section it off. So this cyan wool will connect diagonally to that cyan wool with 2 diagonals there, and then the white stained clay starts. Can you see what I'm talking about? I'm just showing you guys which areas you want to fill in with white stained clay and which areas you want to fill in with cyan wool. So you can see like that's how the outer part of the arm looks, and then we also have to fill in the inner part of the arm. Basically, we can just copy from the other side, but it'll look a lot something like that. We've only got those 2 cyans place, and then the rest of it will be white stained clay. So we just got to fill this in. It's a little bit awkward. It's no fun for anybody. Great way to stay in shape, and we're just going to be filling that in like that. Now, once you have the arm taken care of, it's now time for us to do the hammer. So the hammer is made of a couple of materials. It's made out of dark oak wood planks. It's also made out of oak wood planks, which we need to grab. It's made out of cyan stained clay, and it is also made out of light grey wool. So throw out all materials that aren't related to those. Grab these 4, and that's all we're going to be needing. So once you have each one of those 4 materials, you want to do this. So we're going to be making the head of the hammer first. Take out your cyan stained clay. You can see we're on the outer part of the arm, and we're on this like top right hand corner of the arm. Well, from this block right here, you want to do an up right diagonal with your cyan stained clay. You then from that want to do a bottom right diagonal, then go right by 1, then do 3 upright diagonals. That's 1, 2, 3. You then want to go. You then want to do 5 up left diagonals. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You then want to do 3 bottom left diagonals. That's 1, 2, 3, and then go down by 1, and then do bottom right diagonals until you connect all the way back to where you first started. So you have this sort of shape right here. Not only do you want to have the head of the hammer on this side, but you also want to have it on the opposite side of his arm. But to do that, you can just take each one of those cyan stained clay blocks, and you can extend them coming over this side here. You can extend them coming over each by 3. So towards the center of the statue, you just want to do rows and rows of 3 cyan stained clay until you have the whole hammer, basically, until you have like a silhouette of the whole hammer. That's what we're going for. That's basically what we're aiming for. And once we've done this, we'll also have to fill the hammer head in with light grey wool. So we only have to fill in the outer parts, of course. We only have to fill the outer parts of the hammer in with light grey wool, and then we can make the handle, which is exclusively dark oak wood planks and oak wood planks. And the handle of the hammer is a little bit different because it's on like the top part of his arm and the bottom part of his arm, but you guys will be able to see how to make that. It's pretty easy. So that's like the hammer part of the hammer. That's the top part. You then want to take out your dark oak wood planks, and the handle part of the hammer is only in line with the 2 middle parts of the actual hammer part of the hammer, if you guys can see what I'm talking about. So basically, the handle of the hammer, it starts here, just like coming down into his hand like that. You take those 2 middle blocks, it comes down into his hand here, and then it exits like out of the front of his hand here, out of these 2 middle blocks. So you can see that's like where the path of the hammer goes, it exits there. And then we do a bottom left diagonal from this, and then we go left 1, we then go up 1, we then do 2 upright diagonals, that's 1 and 2, and then we do another upright diagonal here. Can you guys see where we're going? We do another upright diagonal here, and then here, just above it. So can you see where like the path of the hammer goes? Can you see how it's ended up like this? And then we just want to do the same thing. We just want to add like an extra layer of dark oak wood planks here, and then we just want to do regular oak wood planks in between all of that. So we just want to have something which should, let's have a look from the outside, which should look a little bit like this. So that is Steve's hammer sorted. Easy enough, right? Once you've got that taken care of, we have to give Steve another arm. So once you've done that, you now want to come over to the opposite side of the statue, and you want to come all the way up to this top left-hand corner of the side of the statue. So this corner here, place 1 coming out of the side of the statue from this corner, then do 3 bottom left diagonals from it. So that's 1, 2, 3. So coming out the back of Steve. Then do 3 bottom right diagonals. That's 1, 2, 3. Then do 3 up right diagonals, 1, 2, 3. Then do 2 up left diagonals to connect back like that. Then take out the white stained clay, and underneath like this most right hand cyan wool block that you have, place a white stained clay underneath it, and then go right of that white stained clay by 8 with your white stained clay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then go down by 3, that's 1, 2, and 3. And then go left all the way back until you connect back diagonally to the arm. So you want to have something which should look like this. What you now want to do is take each one of those blocks and extend them out the side of the statue each by 3. So that's like 1, 2, 3. It's essentially the same thing that we did for the other side of Steve. So we're just making his arm 3D now, except this time we actually have like the separation between like where his sleeve ends and his arm begins. If you can remember, we had a little bit of difficulty with that, just a little bit of difficulty with that on the other side, where I didn't really explain where you had to like begin the sleeve and where you had to end the sleeve. But we're adding all of these in now, and then we can add in, then we can do the sword. The sword is going to lay flat on the anvil, but it's going to be 3Dified a little bit. There's going to be like 2 layers of the sword. We're going to need quite a few materials for it. I say quite a few materials. We're just going to dump all of these materials after we finish with them, and then we're going to grab all of the ones we need. It's not too many. I mean, I'm sure if you guys are on this channel, you might have made a diamond sword before. There's a decent chance that you might have at some point made a pixel art diamond sword. It's the same thing, except it's in a different position. So that is Steve's arm. You can see that it's overhanging onto the anvil a little bit. Once you have that arm taken care of, it's now time for us to do the diamond sword. So dump all your materials like it's a crazy ex-girlfriend. Grab yourself some dark oak wood planks, some oak wood planks, grab yourself some block of diamond, and and then grab yourself some cyan wool. Once you have each one of those materials, you now want to come all the way to like the hand that is on the anvil. Oh, damn. Hang on, I just realised we didn't fill in this side of the arm, did we? And there's a decent possibility that we also didn't fill in the top part of the arm, so hang on. Damn. I can't believe I did that. I've been doing so well with placing stuff, and I bet that on the inside of the back part here... Oh no, I did fill that in. Anyway, so we need all of those materials but the white stained clay. Perfect. Okay, so once the arm is completely filled in, and you're sure it's completely filled in, you then want to take out your dark oak wood planks, and you can see where we have this diagonal here, like this bottom right-hand diagonal of the arm here on the anvil. Well, from this block, you want to do 2 bottom right diagonals with your oak wood planks, so 1, 2. You then want to take out your dark oak wood planks, and you kind of want to place dark oak wood planks like here and here, so around those oak wood planks. You then want to, with your cyan wool, place a cyan wool going right of the second oak wood. You then want to do an upright diagonal, go right by 1, do an upright diagonal, right 1, down 1, 2 bottom left diagonals, 1, 2. Then do 8 bottom right diagonals, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so you're hanging off of the anvil now. You now want to come down towards you by 2, then go left by 2, then going back towards the anvil, we now want to do 8 up left diagonals, so you can see 8 up left diagonals, but we're going to have to do it in this position. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like this, and now we can have a much better looking view. So 8 like that. We then want to take that 8th diagonal, we want to go up from it by 1, then do an upright diagonal like this. But then we want to take that 8th diagonal again, which is this one right here, we just went 8 up from it. We then want to do a bottom left diagonal from it, then do 1 more, go left 1, up 1, upright diagonal, up 1, upright diagonal, and this is the shape that we've made. Now, once you've got that shape taken care of, we now want to completely fill that in, the empty parts in, obviously, with diamond, and that will be the diamond sword. But once we fill this in with diamond sword, we're then going to want to add another layer on top of the sword, because I mean, I don't know if you can tell right now, the sword's a little flat, and I know it's being hammered out, but it doesn't need to be that flat, does it? So once you've got one layer of the sword, you might want to add another layer on top of it, which is exactly what I'm doing. Add an additional layer on top of the sword. So we're just going all the way around it, and then I'm going to fill it in with diamond again. And guess what, guys? It'll be done after that. That's it. Once the sword's done, that's the last bit, and then we can admire our statue, and we can have a nice look at Blacksmith Steve, because I think he is quite a nice statue, and I didn't want to let him go by. I didn't want to let him go by on the channel without him being made. He appeared in one of my creative World Tour videos, and I don't know, I really like him. I was looking back and I thought he was a cool statue. So that is the sword taken care of, guys. You can see it's a little bit more 3D now, isn't it? Isn't it a little bit more 3D? Perfect. Let's destroy that weird row that we have in front of us, in front of the anvil, to mark out where the front of the anvil is, because some people are a little crazy, including me, and sometimes forget where those things are. Now, that is what you want to have, once you've done the sword, that is what you want to have for your Blacksmith Steve statue. That's what I'm calling this. I'm calling him Blacksmith Steve. Now, once you have that taken care of, you have 100% fully completed your Blacksmith Steve statue. Hopefully you guys like him. Hopefully you've managed to make him. If you've done both of those things, I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a like, a favourite, and a share if you wouldn't mind. If you really do like these sorts of videos, these sorts of alternate statues where it's a little bit different, stuff that you wouldn't generally see Steve doing. I mean, obviously, you know, like regular Steve statues and Steve with like a sword and an armor, you'd probably see statues like that. I've made them myself. They're up on the channel in the tutorials. You can probably find them quite easily, like Gold Armor Steve, Diamond Armor Steve, but I like them when they're doing something a little bit different, stuff that you wouldn't generally see. I think that it's really cool to have stuff like this, so hopefully you guys give it a like, give it a favourite, give it a share if you liked it. Comment down below what sort of other stuff would you like to see. Always interested in that, so if you wouldn't mind doing all of those things, check out the Con System. 2 playlists that I think you'll really like are my mob statue tutorial playlist and my Minecraft item tutorial playlist. I think like both of those quite a lot, but I'll probably also link some more relevant statues as well that I think that you guys might really enjoy. So like, favorite, share if you wouldn't mind, comment down below, check out the card system, and I'll see you guys in the next video.